Hi, I'm Sara Snow with another episode of Refreshed. You know, I went to my farmer's market yesterday and I was just blown away by all this fresh fruit that is suddenly in season. Peaches and nectarines, plums, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and I absolutely had to buy up a bunch and bring it home and make a fruit crisp. So here is the Busy Chef's Plum and Berry Crisp. Okay, to start off with, I am chopping 4 plums. These are ripe, beautiful purple-red plums. And you just want to chop them into pieces that are similar to the size of your berries. Okay, I've got all my beautiful plums here. I'm going to grease the bottom of my baking dish. You want to use an 8-inch baking dish. Square or round will work fine. And you want to just lightly grease the bottom of it. It would be a travesty if any of this beautiful fruit stuck to the bottom. Now I'm pouring in my plums. Again, this is 4 chopped plums. And I want a cup of berries. This can be blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, whatever your preference is, but you want a cup all together. So I'm actually going to use a combination because I got such a beautiful selection at my market yesterday. I'll use some blueberries. I'll use some of these blackberries. And some raspberries. Now, of course, I couldn't help but pop one in my mouth, but that's an important thing to do because you need to test the sweetness of your berries. That's going to determine how much sugar you will add to this. If your fruit is a little bit tart, you want to add a half a cup of brown sugar. If your fruit is quite sweet, you can lessen that to 1/3 of a cup or maybe even 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So I pour my berries in there. That is the most gorgeous dish I have ever seen. I almost don't want to put it in the oven, but I will. I'm going to add a small pinch of salt. Why? Because salt actually brings out sweetness. Sweetness brings out salt. It's that interesting thing. It's why when you make a salad dressing, you always have to put just a tiny bit of sweetener in there, sugar, honey, agave nectar. Now I want my sugar, and again, this could be anywhere from a half a cup down to 1/4 of a cup. And I'll toss that around a bit. My final step is to dot a tablespoon of butter across the top. Now this is going to go into a preheated 425-degree oven for about 5 to 10 minutes just while I make my crumb topping. But you'll see why this is the Busy Chef's Crisp because our crumb topping is going to take literally about 30 seconds. I could make a crisp topping using a mixture of oats, flour, sugar, salt, butter. That's the typical crisp topping. And that doesn't take much more than about 5 minutes to make. But I am making the Busy Chef's version of this. So I happen to have these fabulous cookies that were already sitting in my refrigerator. These are from a company called Chunky Dunkies. These are delicious. They're raw vegan cookies. So they're quite healthy, they're quite delicious, and I already had them on hand. And because of that, I'm just going to crumble them down, and this will be my topping. A lot of different kinds of cookies would work. Oatmeal cookies would work, graham crackers, snickerdoodles. Look in your pantry. I bet you have something that you could use as a crisp topping so that you too can make a fresh farmer's market crisp tonight. All right, measuring this out and remembering that I need about 1.5 cups. Okay, after 10 minutes, I'm pulling this beautiful crisp out of the oven. I'm going to add the topping onto it and then pop it back in the oven. And there we go. That goes over the top. And honestly, this entire thing has taken me less than 10 minutes to assemble, which is freeing up the rest of my time to prepare a delicious dinner for my guests, or maybe nothing else. Maybe just plum crisp for dinner tonight. Works for me. Back in the oven it goes. After baking for about 25 minutes, this is my beautiful crisp, and look how it's just bubbling up. And how should it be served? Well, of course, alongside a nice modest size scoop of ice cream. Of course, we have the berries and the plums fresh from the farmer's market. And because this is the quick chef's crisp version, I used crumbled cookies on top instead of making a crisp topping from scratch. Because, as you can hear, I have a little one waiting for me over there. This looks delicious to me and will certainly become a family favorite here. I hope it will for you as well.